Welcome to the Vegeta 500! This wig is terrible. Hey, if you didn't notice, today we're doing another Vegeta workout on Real Anime Training. I'm the anime trainer, and today we're gonna do Vegeta's 500 times gravity workout. A little too Ginyu? It's a little too Ginyu. Sometimes I like to imagine that Vegeta used to idolize the Ginyu Force and do several dances. So that's where, like, when he was dancing for Beerus, that you, like, that's where you got all those moves from. Yes, hello, my name is, Prince Vegeta, and I would like to be a member of the Ginyu Force. Alright, so for Vegeta's Gravity Room workout, we did a lot of bodyweight exercises and did some core stuff, did some combat stuff. And this is sort of similar, but we're taking a different take on it. So, for the 500 times gravity workout, we're going to use something called quasi-isometric exercise. And what isometric exercise is when you are holding the same position and you're exerting force in that one position. So it's a really good way to develop strength in one area. But what quasi-isometric exercise is you are moving very, very slowly through a range of motion. And when I say very slowly, I mean like 1 minute per rep. Super, super slow. And that's going to give you a very, very deep burn. You're going to be shaking all over the place, and believe me, it is extremely, extremely difficult. During passive QI, what you're essentially doing is you're training yourself to use as little strength as possible to be able to perform a movement. So it's like improving your efficiency. It's a good idea to use your imagination to think about you're essentially pushing through water. And then during active QI, what you're doing is you're essentially activating all of the muscles at the same time, so you're working through gravity and through your own muscular tension, so you're going to be building a great amount of strength. This type of training is said to support your joints, as well as give you the ability to be able to have all of your muscles work together for a particular movement pattern. All right, one last thing before we actually get into the exercises, I want to talk about your breathing, because since it is such a long rep count, 30 seconds down, 30 seconds up for each of these things, you're not going to be able to breathe like normal. So what I want you to do as you're doing the exercise, you're going to be focusing on shorter, faster breaths. So it's going to be like, you're going to be breathing like that throughout the entire range of motion. This workout is broken up into 2 sections. And for the first section, it's going to be bodyweight exercises again. But what we're going to do this time is we're going to do 5 repetitions of the exercises that we pick. So we're going to do 3 sets of 5 repetitions of 3 exercises. Once you get to that point of being able to do those, it will take you 45 minutes to get through that bodyweight section. But until that point, I guarantee you're probably going to max out around 15, maybe 20 minutes for the first section. All right, so your choices for exercises are push-ups, handstand push-ups, squats, split squats, and that's on each side, so that's going to take you a little bit longer. Pull-ups, and body rows. So that's 6 different exercises to choose from. Now, as is apparent, some of these exercises are going to be harder than others to do quasi-isometric training in, and you may have to do 15 seconds up, 15 seconds down, or maybe even less than that at the very beginning. But as you get better at it, you'll be able to do it for longer and longer and longer. For instance, with handstand push-ups and pull-ups, those are going to be 2 movements that it's going to be very, very difficult for you to be able to do 5 repetitions at 30 seconds up and 30 seconds down. During all of these movements, you need to make sure that you are maintaining your posture, because you don't want to get lazy just because it's taking you a long time to go through movements. Whether or not you're doing a push-up, a pull-up, a split squat, whatever it is, you need to maintain your postural position. And I guarantee it's going to be a lot harder than you think it is. You think 5 repetitions, that's not a big deal. This is going to be brutal. You're going to be shaking like crazy. And believe it or not, you're actually going to be breathing really, really hard after you do a few sets of this. Something that my friend James talked about when he would do Tai Chi is that even though he's not moving very quickly, in the process of doing a very slow form, he's sweating really hard and his heart rate goes up and he's breathing really, really hard. And that's amazing because the amount of muscular tension that's essentially going on in that process, you're using a lot of energy. Don't let it deceive you. This can kick your butt. After all, it is 500 times gravity training. One benefit of doing this quasi-isometric training is that because you're doing it at a slower rate, it allows you to be able to really analyze where your form is. So you can focus on your posture, you can focus on keeping your elbows in for the pushing and pulling, you can focus on keeping your knees out and your back straight for your squats. It's very useful in being able to correct some of those postural things and kinetic chain issues that you may not pay attention to if you're moving faster through your repetitions. Now for our second section, we've got combat training using QI. So we've got 4 options here. We're going to do shadow boxing with passive QI, shadow boxing with active QI, movement training with passive QI, and movement training with active QI. So let's talk about the shadow boxing first. For the shadow boxing, what you're going to be doing for passive QI is that's very much like what you would see in Tai Chi. So you're going to be practicing any kind of shadow boxing moves that you would normally be practicing, but you're going to go very, very slowly for each of these things. So you may only get, in the course of that 30-minute time period that you're doing passive QI shadow boxing, you may only do 15, 25, 30 techniques because you're moving so slowly. At the very beginning, it might be a good idea to make a list of techniques that you normally throw in shadow boxing and sort of make like a form for you to follow so that you don't have to think so much in the process of doing the passive QI or active QI shadow boxing. You just kind of go through the routine. And you're going to find out that this is a lot harder than it sounds because you're going to have a lot of weight shifting stuff that happens in normal punching and kicking that is going to be so much more difficult because you're not using momentum. You're having to control those positions. This is a very good way for you to build strength and stability in combat positions that you wouldn't normally have strength or stability in because you're moving too quickly from one position to the next. Now with active QI on shadow boxing, that's going to be really, really difficult because you're tensing so many muscles. You're really... So things that would be similar to this are the iron wire set from Hungar or Sanshin kata from Kyokushin. You're creating muscular tension throughout the range of motion of a technique so that you can work the muscle in the range of that technique that you wouldn't normally be able to do. So it's like, it would be like punching or kicking underwater, but you're doing it in the air by using your own muscular tension. So that's going to allow you to build a lot of strength, stability, and injury resistance by practicing those techniques. And so you're going to feel a lot more solid when you're throwing your techniques doing that. The next section is passive and active movement training. For the movement training, we're doing things perhaps like bear crawling, crab walking, or other animal movements, focusing on moving in different types of footwork, getting down on the ground and getting up from the ground. Just things that you would do in everyday movements or in things that might be, fun or what have you, going through a yoga set or something like that. Those would be examples of types of movement that you could do for passive and active QI movement training. And the same rules apply here. In the passive, you're just sort of relaxing into the movement, but still controlling it. For active QI movement training, that's the same thing. So like animal movements, yoga, other stuff like that, but we've got muscular tension throughout the entire thing. So you may end up doing more difficult gymnastic type hold positions, like a L-sit, or moving into a planche or a handstand or something like that. Or you may just decide to really tense your muscles and kind of go through bear crawls or crab walks or something like that to really tax yourself through those movements. Throughout this entire workout, you're not really moving fast at all. But at the end of it, you are going to be absolutely, completely wiped. So at the very beginning of your training, I wouldn't recommend doing this for more than 1, maybe 2 days a week because it is very, very hard on you. You're going to be very sore. It's a deep soreness in the muscle. So with a combination of this and Vegeta's normal gravity room workout, you've got a lot of tools to make yourself really, really good at body weight exercises and combat training. And believe it or not, QI is extremely good at developing strength. So you're going to be strong and not even realize how much stronger you've gotten by doing these techniques. After doing this workout for a little while, you're going to go back to doing Vegeta's gravity room workout, and you're going to not even feel it. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I love making these things for you. And if you enjoyed it, please go ahead and like it, subscribe to the channel, share it with all your friends. And if you need some additional help with training, there is some free stuff in the description. And until next time, guys, good luck and train hard.
So, Vegeta's not allowed to thank the patrons anymore? Go figure. So, they asked me to do it. Thanks!
Split squatch.